No one can tell you about getting older when you're younger. Hey, what do you hear? What do you say? My Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, your sister's ass, the Pony Express, Vic Dibitetto here. So, every day I get a little bit older. We all do. I get it. It's part of life. But it's an interesting journey, this getting older thing, because you can't experience it until you do. It's not like everything is fine and then you turn 65 and then everything changes overnight. And there isn't a course you can take to prepare you for these changes. Oh, no. No one can tell you about getting older when you're younger. You feel indestructible when you're younger. But as you get older, shit happens out of the blue over time, and you have to just deal with it as it happens, because it will happen. Now, here's some examples. Follow me. Look, hair growing everywhere it is what it is, but you learn to deal with it. I never had to trim my nose or my ears. Then when I turned 30, I realized I had to do this maybe once a month. Then maybe once a week in my 40s. Then every 3 days in my 50s. Now, I turn 60 next year, and I believe I'll have to trim my nose and ears every hour the way this shit is growing. My nose hairs grow so fast that sometimes when I sneeze, it makes the sound of a whip cracking. That's when I know I have to trim it. That's the easy part of growing older. Keep fresh AAA batteries around and make sure you have all the devices you need to get into every hole and nook and crevice. And the hair situation is easy to handle. But here's the stuff that gets fucking crazy when you get older. Whoever thinks about getting injured while taking a shit? Well, apparently now I do. So last week I'm dropping a deuce, just like normal. Everything is going great. I finally finished, so I begin to mummy up the hand, just like normal. And I lean forward to mop the poop deck, and boom! I pull a muscle in my lower back and literally fell off the toilet onto the floor. So here I am, my hand is mummied up with toilet paper, my back door hasn't been cleaned yet, and I'm lying on the bathroom floor with the lower back spasm. Now, if you think about it, this is really a combination of getting older and poor body design. I mean, does the 2-hole really have to be in an area that requires me to be a fucking ballerina to deal with normal bodily functions? I mean, come on. We all lose flexibility as we get older. Why does wiping the Bombay doors have to be as difficult as a yoga position? And now think about it. It's a crazy position to be in. One arm is up in the air. The other is trying to stretch around the back as far as it can. Your legs are crouching at the knees, and you're bent forward trying to balance this whole crazy thing. So anyway, the lesson learned from this, no bullshit. Now, when I'm done and ready to clean the mud flaps, I have to use my left arm like a chair leg on the front of the toilet seat and slowly lean forward and use it for leverage to lift myself and lean so my weight is on my arm instead of my lower back straining to hold my position. Then I slowly stretch the mop arm up and out so I can get it to reach around without getting a cramp in my shoulder. This is what I have to do now not to get injured when I take a shit. Here's another lesson you have to learn the hard way, apparently. So it's hot out, okay? I'm hanging out by the pool. I'm smoking a little doo-doo-doo-doo. I'm getting a little sun, getting a little exercise from vacuuming the pool. I finally get done, and I go in the house. I get a nice cigar, make a little cocktail to reward myself. I go out to one of the comfortable chairs under a nice umbrella. The waterfall is on. I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven now. All I have to do is sit down and enjoy the fruits of my labor. And I fall back into the chair and bang! I sit right on my own nuts. It was so hot, and I'm getting to that age where the only thing that's elastic on my body anymore is apparently my nutsack. I wasn't paying any attention to it, but it was apparently hanging down to my knees. So I sat on it. You ever sit in your own nuts? Just for the men. I could swear lightning shot out of my fucking ass. That's how painful it was. When I was a kid, or even my 40s, I don't ever remember sitting on my own fucking nuts. But here we go with this aging thing again. Another lesson learned. Things we took for granted when we were younger, like just sitting down is now something we need to prepare for, just like taking a shit. Now I have to adjust and prepare and get everything lined and moved over just to sit down in a fucking chair. You know, this whole thing about losing a step. I remember when I was a kid and the announcer on TV would say, "Oh, that baseball player or football player, he's lost a step," because he turned a certain age and he couldn't run the bases as fast, or couldn't get to a fly ball the way he would years earlier, or couldn't avoid the rush and got sacked. And I'm a kid thinking, lost a step? What the fuck does that even mean? What is he doing? Hopping now? Did one of his legs go away? How does he go up a staircase if one of the steps is missing? So when I was about 50, I realized that I guess I lost a step. I just could not move as quickly or as fast as I did the day before. It happened really fast. Doing anything took me a second longer to prepare for it, or took just a little longer than before. And now, as I approach 60, I realize that the second step is gone now. Part of my act on stage used to be where I would go down to the ground and lie there and tell some jokes that I could only tell if I was down on the ground. And then I would get up and keep going. Now, holy fuck. My manager doesn't even want me to do that part of the act anymore. He's like, you can't lie down on the stage because you can't get the fuck back up, you idiot. And he was right. I did this part of my act just before the pandemic hit back in March, and here I am. Lying on stage, everyone's laughing, I'm telling my jokes, and now I have to get back up. Oh boy, my knees hurt. I needed the stool with one hand, and I needed the mic stand with the other hand. Then I had to roll over and get on my knees first. Then I had to put the mic down. It took about 30 fucking seconds for me to finally get back on my feet. And while the audience thought it was hilarious, I knew that maybe that's why George Burns didn't lie on the stage during his act. Yeah, I know. I have to embrace getting older. We all do. Father Time is undefeated, as they say. Mickey Mantle got old. Jack LaLanne got old. It happens to everyone at some point. I'm okay with it. It is what it is. There's an old saying, life isn't a port you arrive at. It's a method of traveling. Meaning life isn't about ending up somewhere. Life is about the way you make the journey to get there. We all go around once on this planet. Let's make the journey nicer. Let's try to be kinder and gentler to each other. And let's really take care of the elderly, because we're all going to be old someday. And a lot of senior citizens are struggling in this fucking country. It doesn't need to be that way. It shouldn't be that way. Anyway, let's try to take care of each other just a little better. We are all we got. Be safe, be healthy, be kind. And if you're going to sit down, check your sack first.